Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? What's up, people? How you doing? Got 2 minutes to the half. Last day of March. Start marching your butts on in here. Let me see what you got. Give me what you got, what you really, really got. Hey, couple people always on time. Couple people. Well, most of the time. Yep, yep. So what's happening, people? How you doing? Come on in. Show me some thumbs up. Give me some love. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Yeah. Oh, OJ's song, huh? Put your hands together. OJ's did some songs, huh? Oh, oh, baby, I guess you got your hooks in me. Y'all remember that? What they do? They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Backstabbers. Huh. So, what's happening, people? I see a couple of people out there. You show me some love. Give me some claps. Give me some hand claps. Give me some love. Mwah. Give me some thumbs. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know you're in the house. Oh. Mama say, Mama Sama, Mama sa. What's up? 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 My people. How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It's all good. So how's everybody doing? I'm procrastinating a little bit. And I'm not really procrastinating. I'm just kind of waiting on some folks. There we go. Give me love. Show me love. Show me love. I think I gotta go get me another bottle or two. Um, I went by the store today. I call it the spirit store. And it makes some people speak in tongues. I went by there today to possibly give me a little bit more sippages. And that place was crowded. I kept asking myself, is this a holiday weekend? I guess there's some serious little alkies in this joint. So with that being said, I'm gonna say how y'all doing. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Good evening. 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 Where you at? Come on in. I see you. I see my usuals in here on time. I see a couple people dropping in, dropping out, lurking in the shadows. Don't lurk. Say hello. Come on in, get your seat. Take off your helmet, sit down, get off the bus. Don't make no noise. Don't break nothing up. Don't put no gum underneath my seat. You know how y'all do. So I'm just kind of tripping here, folks. I guess it's been one of those weeks. I tried to take it easy this week. Um, Preparing to hit the road, I guess everybody is after uh, it appears that we've got COVID to a place where we can rediscover a new norm, a new sense of normalcy. So I see people getting out and about. Maybe that's why the liquor store was, oh, I'm sorry, the store that sells spirits. And that always made me laugh, like, ghost in a bottle or something. But anyway, I went by the other day and it was kind of crowded, but I guess people are starting to get out, starting to socialize, and um, there's a list of concerts that's here in the Orlando area, and I haven't attended any as of yet. I started to go see Jeffrey Osborne. If you woo woo woo, but I chose not to. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open as to what's going on and what I can kind of get into, so forth and so on. So how you folks doing this evening? It's a couple of minutes past a half hour, so I'm gonna kind of tap in and say what I gotta say and tap out, get out of here. I want to say good evening and welcome to the show. I want to say thank you for spending your Thursday nights with me. Um, as always, I'm truly humbled. My name is Hank Batiste. Of all the things you could be doing on a Thursday night, you choose to be here with me. I tried a different type of advertisement today. I tried to do um, the story pop up with a little music, and I thought that would be pretty good. So I'll see what kind of response I get from that. Um, like I said, my name is Hank Batiste. My show is called A Mythologic. This shit makes no sense. I'm your host tonight, and the voices in my head are perplexed and are confused. Honestly, folks, I'm tired of treating us with kids' gloves. I want to say what I want to say, but then I have to kind of scale it back so I can be as frank as I'd like to be, simply because I don't want to get censored and suspended yet again. I know that I'm on the firing line, so I have to be cognizant of everything I say and how I express myself. But let me just say this: this is not a disclaimer, it's not an apology, it's not a secret that my ancestry, as is most of yours, is a part of New Orleans gumbo with lots of ingredients, lot of ethnicities, races, and so forth and so on. But I identify as a black man, not African American, black. When you mix all the colors of a rainbow together, you get the color black. And that best describes me, my lineage, my heritage, my ancestry, etc., etc., etc. When you read the Bible, it tells us that Jesus had hair like sheep's wool and feet like burnt bronze. So you get a person of color or black. Um, but every time we as American blacks or black Americans or African Americans or whatever we calling ourselves for the next couple of years, every time we look for justice, every time we look for civil rights, we have to give the disclaimer that it's not just us, it's for everybody. But when women do something, it's specifically for women. When the LGBTQ community does something, it's specifically for them. And they seek legislation and laws that protect and affect and work for them. When we include everybody, it just seems so far fetched, so all encompassing that it tends to fall apart. It seems to lack focus. And what happens when it falls through the wayside, when it falls by the wayside, when it falls through the cracks, it leaves nobody but us lacking. So tonight I'm gonna share a recent incident, something that happened to me, and it got me thinking. Then I'm going to give my analysis on the Chris, Will, and Jada debacle because I see it several different ways. But the one thing that I saw is probably something that some people are talking about and something that others are avoiding talking about. And I think it's the obvious. Um, but in my opinion, it tells a tale of how we disrespect each other so freely, so openly, in what I call the personification or the continuation of the Jim Crow the Third narrative. So tonight I'm also going to talk about Judge and U.S. Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. because I want to keep it relative. I want to keep it relevant. I want to keep it current, and I want us to stay aware as to what's happening. She's a qualified judge, but she's been shown no respect whatsoever. I call it the conundrum of Black people. Then I'm going to ask a question because most of my following is female, Black female, white female, and a couple Hispanic as well. So I titled tonight's show, Taking Off the Gloves. But even then, with the current situation being what it is, and with Facebook being my NBC censor, I have to be cognizant of what I say because there's even what I call a delay in my YouTube, and some of the things that I say come out garbled or they're censored as well. Certain words are left out. But my YouTube numbers have really come up. So I'm going to continue to ask you guys, if you haven't already, subscribe. If you have subscribed, pick a couple of your favorite shows and share with people that you care about. Because my message is for everybody. Though I focus on what's relevant to us and to me, both as a Black man, as a Black American, and as an American, because my history is American history, and I hate having to give those disclaimers. I call this show Taking Off the Gloves. So I'm gonna try to hold back. I'm gonna try to color within the lines. But if I drift off, I'm from New Orleans. It ain't my fault. So with that being said, my name is Saint Batiste. This is Omit the Logic. This shit makes no sense. So let's do this. This first portion I call, What If Jesus Came Today? Now, this is not really religious, and I was raised in the Baptist church, but I had a recent event that served as an epiphany for me. I hired this woman from a shelter to do some cleaning for me, cleaning around the house. And when she finished, I asked her, where could I take her to? Where you need a lift? Where are you going? She says, oh, you can just drop me off at the bus stop. Well, the thing with Florida this time of year, it could be 80, 88 degrees in the daytime. Then it's 50 degrees at night with a 10 to 20 degree wind coming off the ocean. So it feels like it's 45. So what I said to her, I said, the bus stop? She says, yeah, you could just take me out there. I said, well, where are you catching the bus to? What's your final destination? Maybe I could take you there. She said, no, just take me to the bus stop. I'll be okay. And I looked at her and I said, and something spoke to me, I'll be honest, because if you know me, I have serious trust issues. I've seen so much of games people play that I find it hard to just trust people at face value. But something spoke to me and I say, would you like to stay here tonight? And then you could get a fresh start in the morning. And she said, okay. So I got some bed clothes and I dressed up the couch for her and I let her clean up and she went to bed on the couch. What got me is she put her clothes back on. And she had a couple bags in the truck and I asked her if she needed to, I'm just going to skip all that. So she went to sleep. Me having the issues that I have 2 sofas in my media room. My media room is about 20 by 24 feet. So it's this huge room. and I have it set up with kind of a theater organization. So she was on one couch, and even with me extending my hospitality, common sense told me to watch. So I turned on the TV, turned the volume down, and I pretty much played Marine, and I stood watch over her as she slept. And she slept soundly. And then I woke her up. So I may have nodded off once or twice, but I didn't get any sleep. So around 6 o'clock, I woke up and I said, how you doing? You okay? She says, yeah. I said, strangely enough, I really don't have much in here. I need to go to the store. One of my Facebook friends teased me, said this, I'm a typical retiree because I go to Walmart every day. I go to the store every day. But I do that mainly because I like fresh food. And secondly, because when I buy too much food at one time, all that food in the refrigerator, most of it winds up going bad or spoiled because my taste changes on a dime. So all of that to say, I asked her where she wanted me to drop her off. Again, 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:15, 6:20, something like that. And says, you can drop me off at the bus stop. I said, bus stop? She says, yeah, over by Wawa's. Get something to munch on and catch my bus. It sounded a little strange. So I said, wouldn't McDonald's be a little bit better? That way you can take your time, sit down, eat your breakfast, and, you know, catch your bus at your leisure. So she said, okay. So I'm driving to McDonald's and all of this stuff is spinning through my head. And McDonald's is only about 10, 15 minutes away. So I get there and she gets out of the car and I gave her this little bit of money. And what she said is, I'm going to get something to eat. You want something? And I was so blown away by her generosity. He who has nothing, sharing the little that they do have, was someone who has pretty much everything that they could want. And it struck me. And then I realized I had this epiphany. I said, what if I were speaking to an angel? What if I were speaking to a messenger of God? And this is not a religious message. So don't think that I'm trying to be Reverend Batiste. Then me overthinking the situation, I said, what if Jesus came today? We wouldn't recognize him. And we would really, really reject him. If he looked like a homeless man or woman, we would definitely deny him. And then the people that call themselves God's chosen people, they surely would, because he doesn't profess to be of what? Of their culture. And they don't believe in him anyway. Then I said, if someone came today and I was still perplexed by what happened in South, and I said, somebody told us that there was the Son of God, I said, crazy. So if they had an encounter with the police, they would call it a mental crisis or an episode. And imagine, if you will, with the police being as trigger happy as they are, with people with hair like sheep's wool and feet like burnt bronze, Jesus would catch 10 sent to mass by an unknown number of cops. Now, I've heard all of the arguments that intelligent or complex thinkers could never make it into heaven. And I say that's bullshit. My My spirituality is very strong, but I also understand that there are a lot of false prophets out there. So I read the same Bible that they read. I read parts of the Quran. I read parts of, all type of doctrines. And the one thing I believe is my spirituality. That son said, I know that man couldn't create that. So you saying that because I think I can't be, I says no nonsense. So I'm gonna leave you with this, and then I'm gonna move on. We never know what's happening, especially now as things are. So what if we encountered someone? How will we treat them? Moving on. This next thing I call the conundrum of Black people. It centers around this recent debacle, or what the Marine Corps would call a Charlie Foxtrot, a clusterfuck, between Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and, as some would say, somebody in the background named Amy Schumer. Let me say this. This debacle, in my humble opinion, goes further than alopecia. It goes further than defending a woman's honor, and it's bigger than Chris and Will. First, let's deal with this whole narrative. Chris is not getting a lot of sympathy because, unfortunately, Chris has made oodles and oodles of money. He's based his whole career on belittling Black folks from every walk of life, period. But we kind of excuse him because he said some things that Seinfeld guys couldn't say. But people that he hang out with, the Adam Sandlers, the Jerry Seinfeld, and those guys. And when he tells jokes about us that don't show us in our brightest lights. Second, Will has said and done things that took others by surprise. It's been offensive to a lot of people, but we look at Will as being sensitive and imperfect, as we all are. But Will is quick to cry and say, I'm sorry. Jada, this is probably the most complex of these three individuals. Some dub Jada a narcissist and a pedophile for having a relationship with her son's best friend, an underage friend, then exploiting the situation to promote herself in her red tablecloth, or red curtains, or red room, or whatever it is, red room, her show. And I say that in jest. To add insult to an already in, she confessed her love for Tupac and embarrassed Will in front of the entire world, but basically saying sexually he's inadequate and he doesn't really satisfy her needs. But somehow this boy, who's at the time was 14, 15 and up, struck a chord with her that she didn't have with Will. So imagine how manipulative, how much that hurt Will. Then we look at this thing and we see when Chris told a joke, Will's yucking it up. Then she looked at Will and she gave him that cue, and Will reacted. Now, rumor has that Amy Schuler actually wrote the joke. According to Ricky Smiley, all of the jokes were vetted because this was the first time a black man directed the Oscars. So all of the jokes was vetted by committee. So what we are hearing is Chris didn't come off the top of his head. For one thing, everybody knows whether you black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian, or Martian, if you go to a comedy show and you sit anywhere close where you can be observed, you're going to get it from the comedian. And the Oscars, parts of the Oscars and these award shows is like a little roast. They talk about people's clothes and so forth and so on. So this is not totally foreign. So it was posted on Instagram that Amy Schuler wrote the joke. Within a short period of time, it was taken down. And Chris was left holding the ball. It left Chris looking like he had just smoked crack on New Jack City. He was spooky all over again. Only thing was there was no Scotty to come and rescue him. Then I started dealing with the what I call the what ifs. And I was talking to my daughter about it because I always talk to my kids about certain things. Then I talk to some of you guys about certain things. And I posed a question, and some of you, I kind of did a deep dive off Facebook simply because I wanted to hear and be able to interact without fear of being canceled, censored, silenced, suspended, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm talking to my daughter, and I said, what if Jimmie Kimmel was hosting the Oscars and Amy Schuler wrote that joke and Jimmie Kimmel said it? And I said, one thing's for damn sure, Jada would have sucked it up, and Will would not have had the amitter up, walk up there, slap, and then yell from his seat, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Not once, but twice. Then he had, and this to me, this was the punk part about it. Because if I saw somebody that I care about being hurt, I might come to their rescue as well or do something, but I wouldn't do anything. And I have a very, with black and Indian blood, my wick is very short. That didn't sound right. My temper is very short. And then that night, Jimmie Kimmel took it upon himself to go on his show, and he did a 14-minute routine, maybe 11 minutes, something like that. And I saw it on YouTube, and he went in on Will, and he basically defended Chris. And I said, he said he was doing it because he went to one of the after parties and he saw Will getting jiggy with it and having a good time, like he hadn't just, as quote unquote, Chris said, just slapped the shit out of him. So Jimmie Kimmel must have been listening to me, and he went in. And then Will wrote some half-ass apology. So you know where I'm from. Had it been me, it'd have been more than one person got slapped that night. And that's all I have to say about that. But there's an unwritten rule, folks. There's an unwritten rule how we treat each other versus how we treat others. So if Chris tells the joke, that's one thing. If Jimmie Kimmel would have told a joke, is yet another. Imagine if LL was up there and the joke was written for LL. Do you think Will would have got his behind out of that seat and went up there? So we have to be careful. Had Will done that to Kimmel, he would have been arrested on the spot. He would have been disqualified from the best actor category. And all of Denzel's warm words of wisdom would have fallen on deaf ears. Been a non-entity, period. End of story. Moving on. Judge Kejani. Here's where I'm taking off the gloves, ladies. Black women and women issues. Black women and women issues. All women issues. First of all, where's the outrage that we saw when it looked like Nancy Pelosi would be passed over and not receive the gavel as Speaker of the House? Every woman in America came to her rescue, came to back her up. Where's that same outrage now that Judge Brown Jackson is being bullied by the Senate subcommittee? Where's the outrage that all women, when this overly qualified appellate court judge is being vilified and bullied by these racist trumpublicans? Where's Barbara Streisand? She said she would blow up the Democratic Party if Nancy Pelosi was not named as Speaker of the House. Where is she now? I guess she's sharing in the winnings from tips she's getting on Wall Street, and she's satisfied. Where are the sororities? All of those people that was hollering and screaming, and all of that. Where's the Congressional Black Caucus? Where's the Urban League and all of these others? Where's AOC and her so-called progressives? Where's Amy Kobachur and Elizabeth Warren? No, this woman has to take this on her chin, time after time after time after time again. It's simply this, folks. This woman is more than qualified. Being a Black man, my parents, just like yours, told us. They drilled into our head that you have to be 10 times better to be thought half as good. And we've accepted it because when something happens, unlike when you say something about a Jew, you catch flack from all of them. You don't get it from one or two. And as eloquent as Cory spoke, that was more about Cory Booker than it was about this woman. Because if it was about her, he should have been cutting off them. The same way they interrupt when anybody is trying to make sense of their false lies, their false news, when they're throwing something up against the wall, or they're defending one of these despicable Trump disciples. So now Moscow Mitch has the audacity to talk about stacking a court when he handpicked 3 Supreme Court justices and over 100 judges around from state to federal level So if anybody's been stacking anything, but see, this is the game that they play. They look at what they're doing. It's like being a cheater. The person that makes all of the fuss about you're cheating is the cheater. But they deflect attention away from themselves by pushing it off on others and making the other person a scapegoat. So that's what Mitch and the trumpublicans are doing. And all the women are sitting by. And I say all of this because anytime there's a woman issue, Black women jump in head first. And they're in it to win it, and they don't stop till the casket drops. But when it's us, it's just us. I said what I said. Nancy knows the Dems will lose the House and the Senate. In 2022, all my talking, all of my educating, my knowledge and my experience and my thing. The way things stand right now, come November, that so-called majority that we had in the Senate, but those two closet Republicans, they're going to be gone. And Mitch is going to be in control of the Senate again. And then there's going to be a feeding shark frenzy in the House to see who's going to be the Speaker of the House. One thing's for damn sure. If Judge Kejani Brown Jackson is not, we have nobody, and I don't even want to say it. If she's not confirmed as a Supreme Court judge, we have nobody to blame for those people that we talked about, the Pelosi's and all those other women, the Kobachurs, the Elizabeth Warren, the Hillary Clinton, and all of these powerful women who are saving their political clout and sitting idly by. So if she's not confirmed, I said what I said. That's all I could say. So when you start getting with your little women groups, do some ground roots. Talk amongst yourselves and say, how do we make this happen? How do we make this happen? How do we put pressure on the powers to be so someone who's more qualified, and then I'm going to spin it one more time because we're talking about narrative here. When the trumpublicans create a narrative, they say more outlandish shit, throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. And then they repeat it and 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 repeat it until they wear you down. And you say, fuck it, okay. No. It's not going to happen. If we don't get off our duff now, ladies, say what I said. I meant what I said. Moving on. There's so much going on, folks. When I talk about this narrative, the last thing I want to say is you've probably seen this story this week about Ginny Thomas. Justices Clarence Thomas better have. It comes to light now that she made some calls to overthrow the election as well. And as a result of that, some are saying that Clarence Thomas needs to be impeached because that's the only way a person could be pulled off the Supreme Court. Others are saying that racists are going after her, after Ginny. Well, you showed who you are And more importantly, we see who he is. So if we're talking about what Jada does to Will, let's talk about what Jenny does to Clarence. Oh, I may be fighting with one hand behind my back because I have to take into consideration being censored. I have to take into consideration being kicked off Facebook. But let's call it for what it is. Let's take off the gloves and call this. If it's good for the goose, it's definitely good for the gander of any complexion and of any political party. So all I want to see is us come together, if only for a moment, because we got about 8 months to get this together, folks. We got 8 months to solve this conundrum of Black people and be there and step out of the shadows and start acting boldly. Because when they react, they throw caution to the wind. Laws don't mean anything. We've beat the dead horse senseless. Said if that was Black Lives Matter on January the 6th, there would have been at least 1,000 deaths. So we see how they behave. We see a man who's had several charges for domestic abuse is now running for office with Mitch's blessing. And Mitch talking about how they dodged the bullet. How? The man is a wife beater. Not once or twice, but thrice. That means 3 times. Why is he still qualified to run? We see a man who broke the law so many times during his campaign. He told us that the Republicans were so dumb, he could shoot a man in Times Square and still get elected. And then he was elected. And not only did he throw caution to the wind, he made the US Constitution look like Swiss cheese. We saw John Conyers forced out of Congress because some women somewhere said that he was inappropriate. Then we saw at least 16 to 20 women say the same thing, and Donald Trump was still elected president. And after he lied about his companies and all of that, and we heard of all of these things that he did, and then we saw the Comey report from the US Attorney General and a special prosecutor. And then we saw the New York Attorney General said that all of these things he did was so illegal, but he is still a viable candidate for the highest office. And he is stacking the deck. So if he is elected, what's going to happen is they're going to obliterate, they're going to blow up the US Constitution, especially the 25th Amendment that says for president, 2 terms as president. If you don't believe me, take no action. See what happens in November. And then we'll talk about it again in January when we have a Republican Senate, a Republican House of Representatives, and Joe Biden is even more of a lame duck than he is now. So that's all I got for you tonight, folks. As always, I want you to go to my YouTube, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. If you've already subscribed, find a couple of your favorite shows. I got over 165 videos on YouTube. Find a couple that's your favorite. Ask me, I'll tell you a couple that's my favorite. Share my podcast with a friend or family member. Ask them to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. My numbers on a weekly basis are not as good as they should be. I enjoy the love. I enjoy, give me some thumbs up. Give me some love. Remember, as I always say, don't be so afraid to die that you forget to live for a purpose. See you next week, right here. Same Baptiste time, same Baptiste place. As always, my name is Hank Baptiste. This is Omit the Logic. This shit makes no sense. But I got something to say and I'm going to make sense of it. And as always, important, I wish you love. I wish you peace, my people. I'm out of here. Hair grease. Good night. Much love. I love you. And ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Shimon, Shimon. So what's up, YouTube? Anything going on tonight? Any problems? Any problems? Any problems? Can y'all hear me? Where you at? Where you at? Mama see, mama saw. Oh, I know I get a little delay on YouTube, so I'm going to wait for y'all to catch. Oh, anyway, thank you guys. No messages means it must have been a good show. Talk to you later. Good night. Much love.